Hello, this is Reverend Dore Jacques Patlian teaching religious science, which is the science of mind, from Sarasota, Florida. Today, building the house. I owe so very much to my mother, Hildegard. She was a very unusual and powerful lady with much wisdom that she did not always follow in her own life. Like many great teachers, she was better at teaching it than doing it. But she certainly was a great mother to me. I remember well her explanation of why education was vital to every human being, regardless of what trade or profession they might enter. Son, you train for a job or profession, but you educate your mind, because by so doing, you are furnishing the house you will live in every day of your life. You will choose whether you live in a mental mansion or a bare studio apartment. Choose well. It's the most important choice you will ever make. So let's talk today about building the house. I believe that this is how it works. I believe that God is not a parent that raises us, watches over us, and directs our lives like a big nanny in the sky, but rather is a creator and architect of our existence who provides the blueprints, the specifications, and the raw materials that we need to build our own lives. The Founding Fathers believed this too, and they called it divine providence. That's what providence means. We are tasked with building a life with these raw materials, and we're responsible at the end of the day for what we have built. We get to live in what we've created. You know, you and I are born into this world with a particular genome or map of DNA that is the blueprint of our future house, which is called us. This template or blueprint includes our physical strengths and weaknesses, our athleticism, or the lack of it, in my case, and our innate intelligence and talents. It also seems that most of us are impressed with a desire or dream of our right and perfect life. Not all of us, but most of us. This is the wellspring of who and what we will become. This can and will change in detail, but the major thread usually remains constant. For instance, in my own life, I knew I wanted to teach by the age of 8 years of age. And I have done so most of my life. I taught history in high school for nearly 20 years, and I'm now a minister of religious science, but I still teach. Only the method and the subject matter has changed. Okay, the plans of our life house are now drawn up according to what we see in the eye of our imagination, because we've got to have a desire and we've got to have a mental picture or nothing gets built. The materials were given to us at birth. That's our talents, our physical abilities, our mental acuity. Now we're ready to begin construction. Like any construction crew, work begins very early. By the time we're about 7 years old, we've already poured the footings and the foundations and begun to stub in the electrical and the plumbing in our mental house. In other words, we've developed an ego, a personality, most of our basic character has been formed, and we're ready for the finish work. By this time, our education's begun in earnest. I mean, we can read and write, and we're studying mathematics, and we're really beginning to fill that mind. And we're acquiring some basic furniture for the new house, even though the move-in date is still years away. By the time we're about 10 years of age, the basic floor plan of our mental house is complete, and the walls are going up, the framing. This is where too many changes to the design or uncertainty about the design can really mess up the construction timetable and the quality of the job. This is where many projects begin to run into trouble. You must keep that clear mental picture of your perfect home or it'll never be completed. Don't jump from one thing to another if you end up with nothing. Puberty soon after hits, and construction is slowed while we deal with zoning issues and building inspectors, which could mean girls or boys or other sexual choices as we discover our sexuality, which usually hits most of us like a ton of bricks. It certainly did me. We have tough choices to make in the preteen and early teen years. To keep our eye on the finished house or to become distracted by our friends and hormones is one of our biggest choices. And boy, hormones and friends become the two biggest things there are in the preteen and junior high ages. A wrong choice here and the entire project can be in jeopardy. If we decide that school's not important and drop out, say in the 10th grade or 11th grade, we have forfeited our dreams and the entire project takes a fatal turn for the worst. We can still recover, but completing the house will be 10 times harder than necessary. Too many people never get their house built, but live on the fringes of other people's houses, never really finding their own life or their own home, their own mental and spiritual home. If we keep our eye on the prize, that perfect life house, that perfect dream life that we want, we'll move on to college, advanced technical school, or university, and finish getting the walls painted, the fixtures and pictures hung, the appliances and furniture installed. We're now close to the occupancy date of our house. But now there's so many distractions in college, like alcohol, drugs, sex, boredom, pregnancy, student loans, and money. And my kids have been through most of those. Not drugs, thank goodness, but they sure got student loans. Wow, it's a wonder any of us get through this period, but most do, one way or another. If you make it through young adulthood, you will have completed the starter home of your life. It's not quite your dream home. It might be a decent apartment and look pretty good, and it's cozy, safe, and comfortable, but it's yours. Now, the choices you make as an adult will decide if you live your life forever in the starter home, or if you move up progressively to better and nicer homes or lifestyles. In other words, states of being, styles of life. Your choice of life partners or not, in other words, to stay single or have a life partner, your choice of profession, your choice of staying near your childhood home or venturing out to another state or even another nation, can radically alter the house you live in that we call life. I came within an inch of moving to Australia right after I graduated from college, because they were recruiting teachers like crazy back then in the late 60s, and I was hired by the state of Victoria. I would have lived in the Melbourne area. But when I found out what they were paying, and you ended up having to work 2 jobs to live on it, I said no thank you and ended up teaching in Los Angeles. What a different life I would have had. Maybe not good, maybe good. I'd probably be speaking with an Australian accent by now. You are now an adult. You have furnished the first of the many houses that you will build. You made some key decisions, whether to stay home or go far afield, whether to finish your education or not, whether to have a partner or get married or stay single. These are life decisions that you've finished. You're through with them. Each house is a state of being. It's a state of mind. And you're the architect and the builder. What did you build? Whatever you've built, I want you to know you have a safety net, and wise people never forget this. You have imagination and intuition, and by using these tools, together with your will, your innate willpower, you can recover from a misstep or get direction when you're lost. Imagination and intuition are both evidences of the God within you. Only humans have both intuition, which is not the same as instinct, and imagination, and I do not believe that this fact is an accident. We are hardwired with the Creator within, who operates for us as us. But we do have the right to ignore him or her if we wish. We're expressions of the divine, and help is always as close as a prayer and a loving thought. Ask for help. Know that you're not the highest power in your life. Or you can depend on your ego and your intellect. Your choice, your house. Build it how you will. Until we're together again, be happy, be well, and love somebody each day. To learn more about Science of Mind or religious science, log on to csl.org. You'll be glad you did. Find the nearest Center for Spiritual Living. That's what we call our churches near you, and it may transform your life. This is Reverend Dore Jacques Patlian from the Awakened Heart Center for Spiritual Living in Sarasota, Florida. Bye-bye for now.